That is enough. Alright. Let's go to another one. Because I have a fun video to look at tonight. I have said it before. I do love Asmon Gold. He is an atheist. He was raised Catholic, but he is currently an atheist. Hey, the nice thing about him, he doesn't bash on God, unlike many atheists. Okay, he may not be fully pro, but he doesn't just hate on it. Okay. There's one thing I like about him. The next thing I like about Asmon is that it's logical. It's to the point. And you know what? More often than not, he's wrong. And I'm going to use a new internet term for this, okay? Like, I've been in my own universe for the past like, decade. Okay, I've been writing books. Okay? And so I've been lost on this new terminology. I didn't even know who Asmon Gold was a year ago. I had no idea. Okay? And so, I'm going to say that he's cooking. And he's always cooking. And you might ask, what is he cooking? Hey, well, it's not what Hunter Biden is cooking. I watched a video on that. He cooks crack. Okay? But Asmon is always cooking steak. And let me tell you, as we continue this food metaphor, okay, that steak is well seasoned. It is very well seasoned. He did a video, and I have things I want to say about the video, but I'm going to do my very, very best. We're going to go through the whole thing, okay? And then I will comment, okay? So hold on. Where is it? I said this. Okay, here we go. Okay. Now, a little bit of background. Okay. These are Christian nationalists. Okay. They're Christian nationalists. And I'm going to, before I even start into this video, I actually have to move, one moment. I gotta move my... There we go. I had to move myself around just slightly. I really wish I had two monitors, but living in a fifth wheel, you don't have that type of luxury. Alright. Christian nationalists. Alright. Now, they want to basically, okay, for the limited amount of research that I've done, okay, they want to combine church and state. They want a true theocracy to come back. Okay? Not the democracy or constitutional, I guess the most accurate thing. We have a constitutional republic. Everyone says we have a democracy. We actually have a constitutional republic. Okay? But they want a true, pure, biblical theocracy to come back. Okay?
There's a new church. Let's go ahead and listen to the new church.
Christ Church senior pastor Doug Wilson makes no apologies for his beliefs on God and country.
I'd like to see the town be a Christian town. I'd like to see the state be a Christian state. I'd like to see the nation be a Christian nation. I'd like to see the world be a Christian world.
And now Wilson's controversial views as a Christian nationalist are gaining sway in the nation's center of power with the recent opening of his...
This is going to get way bigger, by the way. Way bigger. Like right now, you're seeing the first 10%.
This is why I like Asmon. Okay? He's honest. He has been saying this shit for a while. Okay, I watched a video, was it today or yesterday? From 5 months ago, he said the same thing. Okay? This man is right more often than he is wrong. Okay? Now this group, okay, he says a new church, but I'm gonna be honest, this group is not necessarily new to me. I knew extremists like this back in my teens. I knew people like this 20 years ago. I was a homeschooler. I was a homeschooler in strong Protestant circles. Right? These guys aren't new. It's just that the internet and Trump and many other things have given them now a true platform, okay, to where they can actually vocalize it. But they've always been there. I remember them back at homeschooler conventions. Strong conservatives talking about this, and what many would view as radical.
New church and high-profile parishioners like Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
Isn't it crazy that the guy that has tattoos on himself from the Crusades wants the country to be a Christian nation again? I would have never predicted that. Who could have ever known? Wow.
Is planting a church in D.C. part of your mission to try to turn this into a Christian nation?
Yes. So every society is theocratic. The only question is who's Theo. In a secular democracy, it would be demos, the people. In a Christian republic, it'd be Christ.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. All points of worship, everything is worship, okay? And you can say that back in Jesus' time, or let's go back even farther, let's just go back to Moses, okay? That they had idols, okay? And their idol was gold or silver statue, okay? But you give something in worship, you give something devotion, okay? Technically, cell phone can be an idol. Money can be an idol. And so when we talk about points of worship, or as he is saying, what God is, okay? What is Theo? He is accurate in this, okay? It very well could be the people. It could be a king, okay? The Egyptians viewed Pharaoh as a god. The Babylonians, to the best of my knowledge, viewed Nebuchadnezzar and all of the others as a god. And so Theo really is, as he is saying, the point of emphasis on it.
Well, what would you say to someone watching this and say, look, I'm a Muslim. Who are you to say your worldview is better than mine, that your God is better than mine?
Well, if I went to Saudi Arabia, I would fully expect to live under their God's rules.
But you said...
Okay, let's just keep going.
Told y'all it's coming back. I told y'all this is what's going to happen. I've been saying this over and over and over. This is the angle that I think a lot of people are going to start using in order to push religious messaging and to push for a more homogenous culture. Is that they're going to do it through religion.
And I agree. First off, I 100% agree with Asmon. Okay, 100% agree with Asmon. It's coming. We're seeing it. Okay? This new administration, okay, they even have Bibles with the Constitution built in with the Bible. Church and state are coming together. Okay, and we can see that. Okay? And as he said, Pete Hegseth is the one that reposted this. Okay? So they already have people who they are friends with within the government. Okay? But let's go to this gentleman's statement, okay, about going to Saudi Arabia and having to follow their God from a biblical perspective, the rules of the country, okay? It is okay to go to another country, okay? The Bible supports this. You are a sojourner, okay? That is the term. You are a sojourner, and you are instructed. You are instructed to follow the laws of that nation. Except if it violates the laws of God. Okay? The Saudi Arabian government, okay, I went there, and the people and everyone told me that I couldn't go worship on Sabbath, okay? Sundown Friday to sundown Saturday. Okay. I would have to make a very difficult choice. Okay? If I were already there, well, guess what? The choice is already made. You know, it does not matter if it is life nor death. Okay? You have to. If you are a Christian, you need to push the Bible 100%, and we're going to listen here. And you think this is strong? This is just the beginning. Okay? And the majority, I'm going to warn you, spoiler alert, okay? The majority of what he says, okay, it sounds crazy, but I agree with it, okay, because it really does follow the Bible, okay? It does follow the Bible, and that's what I push. That's what this entire channel pushes, okay? Don't just do something partial, okay? Don't accept 30% tradition and 70% Bible, okay? Do the best as you can to get that number of Bible to 95 to even 100%. I don't believe we can get to 100%. There are things in the 613 laws. 613 laws, if you did not know, this is the number of laws that are within the Torah, okay? The things that Moses wrote down. I'm not sure if it involved the Ten Commandments or not, but I know that, like, the 613, like, it's a big number. And I've glanced through all of them, and there are just things that we can't do. Okay, we can't make a pilgrimage to Jerusalem 3 times a year. Right? First off, the average person, myself very much included in this, can't afford it. Couldn't afford that. It just, there are things that are just impractical. And so, pushing even the bar to, say, a 90 percentile would be good. And this is something that I'm 100% pro to. Okay? This video is going to make me sound crazy. Okay? But don't worry. I have a statement at the end for it. Oh, I do.
That you want this to be a Christian world.
Yes.
So you want to supplant their religion with your Christian.
Yes, by peaceful means.
No.
He's looking for peace on earth. Okay? Let's be honest. We're just gonna be honest about this. We're not gonna shy away from it. We're not gonna pull punches. What did Jesus say? Well, Jesus said his kingdom was not of this world. Jesus has not returned. And there will never, ever be peace on this earth. Never. Okay?
Not by peaceful means.
Not by peaceful means.
Not by peaceful means. You
Agreed.
only... The window has not shifted enough for you to say what you really think.
History repeats itself. History 100% repeats itself, okay? This shit has been done before, okay? When was it done? When did it really amp up? Oh, yes. The 300s. Okay? The Catholic Church 100% did this. Okay? And they were just as subtle. They started with peaceful conversations. And then suddenly it came down to killing people. Torture and death and imprisonment. And if you question it, guess what? Guess what? You're locked up. Or you're gonna rot in a prison cell. Or you're gonna be burned at the stake. This shit's happened before. Just stating.
But, you know, that'll change.
By sharing the gospel, there's a lot of work yet to do. I believe that we are working our little corner of the vineyard.
Wilson's Little Corner, a picturesque campus nestled on the outskirts of downtown Moscow, Idaho, is growing by the day with thousands of like-minded Christians.
That's right.
parishioners of his church, known as
Christian nationalism is going to be probably one of the fastest growing groups of people in the next 5 and 10 years. And I think that it's going to be adopted primarily by young people and Zoomers.
By next election. By next election. We're going to see a heavy influence. Everything that is being done now politically is leading up to it. Step by step. And by next round, we'll see.
Kirkers own and operate several businesses downtown, next to liberal college town stores.
If it's true.
Why did he yell boo? Because it's
Because of me.
because of you.
Yeah.
Didn't
Well,
like
there you go.
That's a regular day for you.
That's not unusual.
No.
A big focus of his Christian movement is on a patriarchal society where men are dominant and women are expected to submit to their husbands.
Women are the kind.
This was retweeted by the Secretary of Defense, saying all of Christ for all of life.
Okay. Remember, we're taking an extreme look here. Okay? This is an extreme look. Okay? And according to the Bible, okay, according to Old Testament, and honestly, it was a practice in the New Testament as well, okay, the patriarchal system is valid. It is how God created it. It was a standpoint for thousands of years, okay, that it was there, okay? I don't disagree, okay? I can't disagree, okay? If the American people, let's say that these guys gain ground, okay? And the American people become Christian nationalist, okay? And they go with this. I don't. I would be a hypocrite. I would be a complete and utter hypocrite if I were to say, respect the Sabbath, follow the 10 Commandments. Oh, but we're just going to completely forget about the patriarchal society. Okay. It's there. This guy's cooking. But we're gonna see. We are going to see. Hey, is it like Asmon? Is he cooking steak? Or is it like Hunter Biden? Is he cooking crack? Hey, is he cooking crack? We're gonna see here.
I don't sound so crazy anymore whenever I say that the 19th Amendment is going to be a conversation point, do I?
It's happening.
I told y'all.
The people that people come out of.
So you just think they're meant to have babies. That's it. They're just a vessel.
No, it doesn't take any talent to simply reproduce biologically. The wife and mother, who is the chief executive of the home, is entrusted with 3 or 4 or 5 eternal souls.
I'm here as a working journalist, and I'm a mom of 3.
Good for you.
Is that an issue?
No.
for you?
So I just have to pull this up in chat. I just have to. Asmon is cooking nothing. He is a demon. Look at him. That's what someone said in chat. He's not well liked. I understand. He's not well liked. But he does generally have 50,000 people watching him. Just for the record. Just for the record.
And no, it's not automatically an issue.
Josh and Amy Prince, along with their
It's not automatically an issue,
Okay.
but it will be. Yeah. I'm going to be CEO of a company. You're going to be CEO of the kitchen. just the way it is. Why is this a problem for Christians?
Okay, we can laugh about this, okay? He can laugh about it. I can laugh about it. But the sad truth is, that is their viewpoint. The Christian nationalists, that is their viewpoint. And it has not differed in any way from the time I spent with them. I'm not going to say that I was a teenager, okay? I was just involved in the groups. But I went to seminars. I heard them talk. All of it. This is no different. Okay?
I think that people feel more comfortable criticizing Christianity versus criticizing Islam because, number one, Islam is seen as a foreign religion and Christianity is a domestic religion. And also it's because of race politics.
I'm going to be honest. I am not here to... I'm not going to debate Asmon's right or wrong nature. I probably, on a worldly viewpoint, I agree with him 7 out of 10 times. Okay? But he's an atheist. Okay? He wears stuff like Ghost. He wears a Satanist band shirt. Okay? I am a strong, biblical, conservative Christian. Okay? And so he and I, on a theological level, couldn't be more than opposite. Okay? What's more important, okay, even beyond his commentary here, okay, is the Christian nationalist side. Okay? What is this? Okay? And will it gain ground? Okay? Now, you may not like Asmon, okay? But he has been saying this is going to happen for a while, and guess what? They're back in the spotlight. My only point is that this isn't new. These guys have always been there, and they will continue to grow. Far right is going to continually gain power. Okay? Sip it. Take it now. Okay? Next election, my prediction is that we are going to move farther right. Okay? Doesn't mean I vote for it. Okay? And if you can make it to the end of the video, okay, and you hear my overall viewpoint and the questions I have for this pastor, okay? The questions I have, and the hypocrisy in the end that it will lead to, okay? Then we'll see, okay? But they've always been there, they always will be there, and they will gain ground.
It's because Christianity is primarily a white person religion and Islam is not. That's the reason why. Those are two of the main reasons.
I do not agree with him there. Okay? Go over to places like India. Go over to Africa. Okay? Well, all over, I mean, the Seventh-day Adventist Church alone has been all over the world. Okay? To say it is just white, here, potentially in the U.S., okay? Potentially. I don't have the numbers. I don't know. Okay? But I'm not going to say it is just white.
Kids moved here from Washington State.
Do you see Amy as your equal?
Mm-hmm. Yes and no. In the sense that we're both saved by grace, we're absolutely on equal footing. But we have very different purposes, God-given.
But do you see yourself as the head of the household, as the man?
He is the head of our household. Yes, and I do submit to him.
So like moving here
was
ultimately your decision.
Yes.
That's a great
example.
Wilson says in his vision of a Christian society, women as individuals shouldn't be able to vote. His fellow pastor
retweeted by the Secretary of Defense.
Do I
That's
comment?
Right.
Do I
comment? This is the reason why a lot of young people aren't supporting Trump. It's because he's not conservative enough. Yeah. Biggest L ever. Religion should not substitute secular law. I'm not a big fan of being ruled by religion either. I think that most people, I am a Reddit atheist. Okay? So I agree with you in a lot of these viewpoints. But I'm telling you where things are going.
Pastors Jared Longshore and Toby Sumter agree.
In my ideal society, we would vote as households. And I would ordinarily be the one that would cast the vote, but I would cast the vote having discussed it with my household.
Okay, now that would follow, okay, a true patriarchal society. Yeah, I'll give them that. Okay? I wanted to wait to comment on it. Do I believe that women should not vote? Okay? No. Okay? More patriarchal society started especially getting heavier, after the flood. But we don't know necessarily how equal it was. Yes, God said, and we're right at the beginning of Genesis after sin, that she should submit to her husband. Okay? But God created them pretty damn equal. Okay? And I believe that in the garden, initially, okay, there wasn't a power grab one over the other. Okay? I would have a lot of conservative Christians come at me for taking that viewpoint. Okay? And they would quote to me a whole bunch of places, okay, especially in the New Testament, saying that man is the head of the woman, Jesus is the head of man, and God is above that. I mean, it's a major non-Trinitarian quote that they throw out. It would say, what was the other major one? Wives, submit to your husbands. Paul says it. And I think Peter does too. Okay? So you're going to find that all over the place. You're going to find it in the culture. Do I agree with it? No. But where these guys are going, okay? Where these guys are going is a strong, most people don't even know that these types of sects exist still. But they do. And they are gaining power.
But what if there's your wife doesn't want to vote for the same?
Right.
We just said the Bible quote.
Why would you even ask this?
Look at her face throughout this video.
You know what the answer is.
She looks sick to her stomach in some of the shots. I kid you not.
You know what just say it.
Person as you.
Right. Well, then that's a great opportunity for a good discussion.
There are some who have gone so far as to say,
you see, they're still trying to play by the old rules. That's it. These worthless men are the reason why sexist women exist. I think that you are in for a very, very bad next 10 years.
Longer than that.
Years.
Longer than that.
You're in for a really bad time.
that they want the 19th Amendment repealed.
I would support that. And I'd support it on the basis that
just says it.
The atomization that comes with our current system.
I can give him props, okay? He just being honest, okay? Doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. The one thing you can say is, hey, at least he's not lying, okay? He says his true feelings.
System is not good for humans.
And Wilson, a veteran himself, is unapologetic about his view that women shouldn't be in certain leadership or combat roles.
They going all the way. Oh shit.
Looking at the leadership page for Christ Church, it's all
guys.
Men.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Like I said, this video is going to make me sound like a nut, okay? But I cannot push for the Bible to observe the Bible fully and not bring things like this out. Okay? The New Testament says it. The New Testament says it over and over. Now, I firmly believe that, especially I believe it's Peter's quote, okay? First Peter, okay, where he says that women are not allowed to speak in a church, okay? I believe that was more cultural, okay? I don't in any way think that God prefaces and prioritizes men more than women. I don't. I do not. I don't think that is a loving or a fair God. Okay? But the concept behind female pastors, you can get female prophets. Okay? There are female prophets. Go to Deborah in the Old Testament. Okay? And you could even make a case that it was Aquila and Priscilla. Okay? When they were with Paul, okay, that she spoke. It says it in there. She spoke. We just don't know the extent. Would she have been allowed by the conservative Jewish people to speak in the synagogue? To just walk in there and say, I have a sermon and I'm gonna talk. No. There is absolutely no way the Jewish people would have let her do that. She would have been cast out. Okay? She just straight up would have been thrown out. At best. Okay? So to say this is not biblical.
Yeah. Congratulations, Karen. You just figured that out.
Do you accept women in leadership roles in the church and in government?
In the church, no.
Why?
Because the Bible says not to.
Yeah, 12 disciples and yeah.
Well, that's not what happens in the Bible. Women do.
Okay. So first off, let's talk about just a little of the hypocrisy here. Okay, of a Catholic telling an evangelical what's actually in the Bible. These assholes are the ones that changed it. They are. They changed the day of worship. They manipulated a whole bunch of shit. And I could be wrong if she is not Catholic, but the caller, that would state it. Who knows? I might have to make a slight apology there. Towards her and the denomination. We'll see if it says, but I'm probably not going to make an apology towards what I said about the Catholic Church as a whole. I'm not going to.
All the time.
Progressive faith leader Reverend Jennifer Butler is concerned about Wilson's growing influence.
Of course they're concerned. I bet they are. Yep.
He is rapidly gaining in power. He has hundreds of churches established around the country.
Yep.
Look at her face. Yep.
These people have no idea where things are
going.
They
actually literally wanted
to... They have no idea what's going on here. This is a consensual situation. The end result of this is that it will not be.
No. It will not be.
Clip it. And let's wait. For now.
Take over towns and cities, and they have access to this administration.
Yes. Wilson is part of a broader Christian nationalist movement making inroads with the Trump administration, with a newly created faith office led by evangelical pastor Paula White-Cain, and people seen right outside the White House entrance praying and speaking in tongues.
We are standing on the soil of the White House.
Oh, good. Good speaking in tongues or bad speaking in tongues? We talked about this. And Paul said he'd rather speak 5 words in his own language than speak 1,000 or whatever in it, like, not. Okay? If they start speaking in another language, remember, it's bad tongues. We don't do that. That's bad. That's not biblical. I've done it myself. I was a Satanist.
And we are declaring your word.
How precious.
And now there's a monthly prayer service at the Pentagon, initiated by Hegseth.
This is exactly what I expected. Yep. Yeah, if you had told me that, again, the guy with a bunch of tattoos from the Crusades would be doing this, I would immediately believe it. Yep.
I'm with him. I'm with him on it. Of course he would. Okay. Funny thing that you would have tattoos, considering that goes against, like, most of the Christian world. Okay. Most of the Christian world is going to take the New Testament and pick and choose from the Old at best. Many of them just straight up say the laws don't matter. Okay. But in this conversation, we're talking about bringing back things like the patriarchal system. We're talking about things from the Old Testament. Okay? Not having tattoos is part of it. That's one of the laws. And so technically, has Pete Hegseth broken one of the 613 laws? Yes, he has. Okay? Is it hypocritical to push this type of movement when you have a bunch of tattoos? Now, like me, okay, you will see, okay, I have tattoos. I have multiple tattoos. I have not gotten another tattoo since I came back to Christianity. Okay, I got all of these when I was actually not a Christian. Okay. But if you were to promote them and you were to get more, I don't know. Okay. And I'm going to be very honest, I can't speak to that. I know very little about Pete Hegseth's background. I have, of course, never met the man personally, or talked to him. Okay. And so I can't say. I mean, he might have gotten them at a younger age, okay, and then would probably, like me, never get one again. I don't know. He might agree with me with the law. I'm not sure. I just wanted to point that out, since Asmon has said that a few different times now.
And before people start calling him the Antichrist, you oppress enough people, don't expect a counterswing. I think that a lot of people view, and this is the reason why I think that it's happening. I think that it's happening primarily because they see encroaching religions, primarily Islam, taking hold in European countries, and I think that Americans are looking to inoculate themselves from that happening in America. And the way that they see that working is by taking on Christian nationalism as an oppositional perspective to Muslim nationalism or Islamic nationalism. And I think that's definitely what's happening here. And so these are people primarily who, I don't know if all of them necessarily believe everything in the Bible, but what I think that they do believe is that they want to be told what to do based off of the Bible and not the Quran. And I think that whenever you look at the way that the demographics have changed and the laws have changed in Europe, I think that many Americans see that and they don't want to see that happen here. That's the main reason why it's happening. It's self-preservation. Yes, it is. No one's telling them to do that, though. Well, I think that that's the perspective, right? The perspective is that a lot of these people, this is the outlook that a lot of them have, is that they're worried that if another religion comes into America and it creates enough of a power structure that it will effectively exercise its will over the people and it will supersede the existing laws. And they look at things like existing blasphemy laws and things like this that are being added in the UK or in Europe, and they see that and they say, oh, well, if these people can live on their own, why are they trying to change the laws and make people tell what to do? Do you see kind of what I'm saying here? So why do we have to swap pussy Karens from Christ Karens? Because, again, and I think that it's a lesser of two evils. That's the way that they see it. And that's the way a lot of people see it.
And it is. It is. It is something driven by fear. Okay? that the average person, okay, he's right. The average person probably will not believe everything in the Bible. They will have not read their Bible all the way. They might call themselves a Christian, okay? But they are professed, okay? Meaning, we have that fork picture that I always go back to, a fork in the road, okay? We got the one on the left, okay? And the sign says, I believe in God, and the path is full of people, okay? And then we have the one on the right, okay? And there's only 3 or 4 of them on there. And it says, I obey God, okay? Many of those people on that left path, the I believe in God, will 100% push to this, okay? Because of fear. But like I said before, Jesus did not establish his kingdom on this earth. He didn't. His kingdom is not of this world. This world will never be peaceful. It's never going to be a Christian utopia. And any Christian who tells you that has not read the Bible. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Jesus is going to come again. And yes, we should be spreading the message. But it doesn't matter whose government is in control. Okay, quote unquote control. Okay, the Lord is in control. It is Him. And if He wants the message spread, okay, there's a great quote in Daniel. There's a great quote in Daniel. Okay, that God setteth up kings. Sorry, I always read King James, so I have to quote it via King James. And taketh them away. God puts in rulers. Okay? Or He at least gives His okay one way or the other. Okay? And people would take that and they would say, well, Trump is then from God, correct? He doesn't live a godly life. I don't care what he says. I don't care if he said that God saved him. Okay? The actions, your actions, mean everything. Is he following the law of God? Not that I can tell. He hasn't made that clear. And he's definitely not following the Sabbath day. So, Trump, unfortunately, falls in the I believe in God category. Not the I obey God. Now, I will give it to these guys, to the Christian nationalists, okay? They're trying to go down that path. They're trying to go down. They're trying to cut through the grass, and they're trying to get to the I obey God path. Okay? And like I said, if it falls in the Bible, I agree with it, but we're almost there. Almost there.
Islam places more limitations on women than Christianity ever did. I don't care about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the way that people think and how they're...
And that is a true statement. Even at the worst points in Christianity, Islam is still... I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that's offensive to anyone. It is. It is. It is just harsher. I don't know how to say it.
Evaluating this and where this impulse is coming from. And if you can't see this happening, I think that you're very delusional. I think that you're not paying attention, and I think that you're intentionally blind. This is where things are going, and I think it's going to become more and more extreme. And as religion, and also here's another reason too, is that the lack of a global culture, right? Or sorry, a national culture. Like America had a much more homogenous natural culture, even whenever I was a kid versus now. I think that there's a lot of people that want to go back to that, and they see that one of the vehicles of going back to that is religion, and that's primarily Christianity here in America. And so that's the reason why it's happening. That's where it's going. Keep religion out of politics. Here's the problem. And you can debate whether this is true or not, but I'm telling you this is what people believe. People don't want to keep religion out of politics out of a very, very simple thing that other people won't keep their religion out of politics. So they view this as you don't want to bring a knife to a gunfight. You see what I'm saying? Religion is politics. Yes, exactly, right? And so anyway, USA doesn't have kings, exactly. And so that's really what it is, and vice versa, exactly. And so, yeah, it's reactionary. It is in a lot of cases. Denmark banned the burqa. Have you seen that? Yeah, I did see a little bit of that. It's not impossible to keep religion out of politics. People just don't want to. Well, do you think 9/11 may have had an impact on this? Oh, of course it did. It absolutely did. Of course.
I'm with him there.
Wilson's highest level connection to the administration.
It's not organizationally tied to us, but it's the kind of thing we love to see.
For his part, Hegseth has publicly praised Wilson.
He has.
Now we're standing on the shoulders of a generation later, the Doug Wilsons and the others.
Wilson's influence spans the globe with more than 150 churches. Lennox Kalafangwa moved to Moscow from Africa.
It's really because I wanted to be a part of a community that was...
I told you. I don't care what Asmon said. Okay? It's not just a white religion. You're gonna see it all over the world, especially in Africa and India.
Doing something, and especially in building Christian institutions.
Are there other black families in this community?
Oh, absolutely.
What a weird, stupid question to ask.
It really is.
That name, like, that's an African name. Christianity is massive in Africa.
Thank you. He corrected himself.
The type of Christianity that's in Africa isn't the same as, like, Orthodox Christianity or like, Catholicism. It's not directly.
We're just gonna forgive Asmon here, okay? He's a Catholic. He was raised Catholic. He has a bit of a tainted view on Christianity. Okay? No offense, because I like this guy. No offense, but it's the truth. It is the truth. I do not speak well of the Catholic Church. Okay? It is converted paganism. They still bow towards idols, and they changed the Bible so that way they didn't get busted at it. Okay? We're gonna say it again. We say this all the time. Okay? Do not confuse religion with God. Don't. It is a horrible mistake. It is an utterly horrible mistake. Okay? That the majority of the religions in the world have what is called tradition. They are not following the Bible. They are following a man-made construct. For whatever reason, whether it's not politically correct to do something in the Bible, like the patriarchal system, or something less offensive, like worshiping on Sunday. Okay? That was a change. That was a change that the Catholic Church did. It was done on March 7th, 325 AD. That's history. It's common history. And yet no one knows it. And those who do know it and go to Sunday, they don't care. Okay? But it's not necessarily, and to be fair, also towards the Catholic Church, they are still the largest church around the world. They are far larger, to the best of my knowledge, in places like South America, in comparison to other denominations in Christianity. I think Lutheran is second, and Adventist is third, I believe. LDS is fourth or fifth, but those, I'm running off old numbers. I don't know. And I'll be honest, that could completely change. I would still say that Catholicism is at the top, and I would still probably say that Lutheran is second and Adventist is third. I would just say that. Adventist might have taken second, but I don't think so.
The same, but it's similar. Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, it's huge.
There's a few black families.
Wilson maintains all are welcome to his church, but he's also not shying away from his past controversial statements on race.
Do you still...
I would have never guessed. Wow.
Believe what you said back in the 90s, that there's a mutual affection between master and slave?
Yes, it depends on which master, which slave you're talking about. Slavery was
I love her face.
Overseen and conducted by fallen human beings, and there were horrendous abuses, and there were also people who owned slaves who were decent human beings and didn't mistreat them. I think that system of chattel slavery was an unbiblical system, and I'm grateful it's gone.
What he also wants God?
Okay. All right. This is the hard one. Okay. I understand where he's going, but I'm going to be very honest with you. He explained that like shit. Okay? Utter shit. And she didn't get it. She did not ask the right clarifying questions. Now, without talking to him and confirming this is my speculation. Okay? This is my speculation on the matter. If I am wrong with this, then he can correct me, and I can say, but the Bible says something very specific, okay? So we're going back to right after they came out of Egypt. We're going back to where all of these laws were put into place, okay? After Sinai, after the 10 Commandments, okay? There are very, very, very clear laws about slavery. Okay? Now, it is absolutely nothing like what we saw in the 1700s, in the 1800s. Okay? It's nothing like that. Okay? First off, you could only have a slave for 6 years. They would be released on the 7th. You were to provide them with items when they left. Okay? If the slave chose to stay with you, they could. They could stay, and there were specific provisions for that. You were not to hurt your slaves. You were not to abuse them. There are specific laws. All of this. Okay? Let's say that you owed your neighbor $5,000. Okay? And you couldn't pay it. You lost your job, your car broke down, your wife left you, she took the kids, everything was bad. Okay? You had no way of paying for it, but you had to pay this guy back. Okay? You could sell yourself as a slave for so many years. Okay? And then you would be released when the debt was paid. Okay? Or no matter what, you would be released upon the 7th year. Okay? That is biblical. And I really hope that's what he's talking about. Okay? He made it clear that he did not like other slavery. I just don't think that he said it right. Okay? I would hope that we don't go there. Because no matter what, that system is abused. Okay? It was abused back in biblical times. It will be abused today. Okay? That of course people would abuse the slaves even though the laws say no. Okay? The same can be said about the patriarchal system. There were many who treated the patriarchal system good. Okay? And there are many who abused it, and it got worse over time. In Jesus' time, it was nearly a reflection of what it was, and women were just sold as property. Okay, and I don't agree with that. I can agree with where, okay, if, I gotta preface this as if, the people of the United States vote in a theocracy, okay, we're back to a true biblical theocracy, I have no issue with slavery, the biblical kind, okay, not what the abomination that happened later. I'm with it. Shouldn't have happened. I am 100%, 1000% against what people would call modern slavery. Okay? And I'm not a huge fan of the other stuff either. Okay? I don't think it's a great idea to sell yourself like that. But it is in the Bible. It can be supported by laws of the Bible. Okay? And it's fair. If he chooses to do this, the people choose to do this, okay, because this is not just something that these group of guys are going to come up with, okay? This is going to take the majority of the United States to push through. Okay? So now the fun one. Oh, the fun one. It's always there.
I told you guys.
He did.
I told you.
Same-sex marriage, because he thinks
man. Remember what I said before about how people are going to become slaves again? There's no such thing as ethical slavery. Okay.
homosexuality is a crime.
In the late 70s and early 80s, sodomy was a felony in all 50 states. That America of that day was not a totalitarian hellhole.
So you would like America to go back to that?
Yep.
Wilson maintains his ultimate goal is...
Okay. Once again, he's quoting recent history. I really wish he would back up his points with biblical preface. Okay. I've said this so many times, and I don't like to just repeat myself, but I don't like being misunderstood. Death is a gamble. Okay? Death is a gamble, and me personally, I don't care. I don't care. Whatever you want to believe, believe it. Just know that when you close your eyes for the final time, your bet's sealed. Okay? And you should, no matter what you believe, okay, if you should do it to the best of your ability. Whether it be Christianity, whether it be atheism, whether it be Islam. Okay? If there are requirements for you, then you should. Okay? The sad truth is, the Bible says that homosexuality is an abomination unto the Lord. Okay? And if you disagree, I am sorry. You will have to rip out a lot of books of the Bible to prove your point. You're just going to have to tear them all out. You're going to have to tear out the laws. You're going to have to tear out Genesis. You're going to have to tear out Jude for sure. You got to get rid of Paul. You got to get rid of all of Paul. Okay? Now, if you are not a Christian, as I've said many times, then what is the law of God to you? What is it to you? And why are you offended by it? If God does not exist, if you are an atheist and God does not exist, okay, then why does it offend you? It shouldn't offend you. But these guys here push the far right side. See, I'll continue that in a moment. That's a separate topic.
To bring about the...
Yep, that's it. That's the goal.
The second coming of Christ through his work, and rejects critics' claims he's trying to make the dystopian world of The Handmaid's Tale a reality.
I'm not a white nationalist. I'm not a fascist. I'm not a racist. I'm not a misogynist.
How far off do you see a Christian nation, like a full-on Christian theocracy?
Oh,
15 years away.
250 years?
250 years.
Yeah, honestly, that's
what you see. But you do think it will happen?
Yes, I do. We're not going to usher in anything ourselves. We're really genuinely pioneers.
I think it'd be 50. 250 is a long time. Not a chance, 0%. Well, anyway, so this is the new guy. This guy pretending people aren't doing sodomy just because it was illegal? Yeah.
I'm telling you. By the time Trump gets done with everything he's doing, okay, and he guts it out, what was standing of the Democratic Party will no longer be there. Okay, their voter base will be gone. We will only see far right moving forward. Okay. And I'm going to preface this with a slight side topic, okay? And you can, before I make my comments on this, because I have a couple of questions that I'm going to put towards this gentleman here, okay? I'm not sure, as a United States citizen, and a Christian, that I should vote. Okay? I'm not sure. I've done study on it, very recently, because I wanted to bring it up. Okay? And I'm not sure if I found anyone who actually shares that same point of view in the Christian world. I would like to say there's one, but I'm not sure there's one. In fact, I've been met pretty hard by my close friends with statements saying we should. In my study, I could not find anything that says, should we vote? It is saying, does God say we have to vote? Okay? I am a sojourner on this world. Okay? I am a sojourner. I don't think I'm not grateful for being in the United States. I am. I'm very grateful. Okay? I am a sojourner. And eventually, I'm going to go back with God. Jesus is going to come here. So I guess going back isn't the right word because I was never there. But my point being is that Jesus is going to come again. And my only mission on this earth is to spread the will of God. Okay? And it is not by force. We are not to force others to do that. And that is a huge standpoint in the Bible. That's Jesus saying it. When he sent out the 12 disciples, said, if they reject you, knock dust the shoes from your feet and leave. Okay? Just move on. Even if they were on the ballot, and even if they followed every single thing I'm now about to say, I've waited. I've been good. Okay? Waited 40 minutes or whatever to actually state my points towards this. Okay? I am not sure I would vote for it. No, I'm not telling you to vote or not vote. I'm saying there's no biblical evidence one way or the other. And I'll probably pull up the page I was looking at because the text they tried to use to prove their point, well, it just wasn't jiving with me. It wasn't the context of the texts. And they desperately tried. They desperately tried to say that God says you have to vote. They misrepresented the Bible. Period. So, conclusion for this video. Alright. What this dude is saying, biblically speaking, is accurate. It is accurate. And I agree with him. Okay? I would want to clarify the whole slavery thing. Okay? Is it biblical? Like, where is you going? Because he didn't explain that shit well. He didn't talk about that shit well at all. Okay? 2. Patriarchal society. Good with it. Bible says it. We want to do family-style voting moving forward. United States. If the people say that and there's a majority vote, Paul says to follow the laws of the land. Okay? I'll do it. As long as they don't conflict with the laws of God. I will follow the laws of the United States to the best of my ability. Okay? Yes, I follow the Bible. I follow the Bible to a T. To the best that I can. Now here's the hard one. I did some research on this gentleman after I saw this video. So I wanted to know. I didn't just want to get on here and talk about this and not have information. So I went to their website and I did some digging. Guess what day he worships on? Just guess. Just guess. We know. Because 95% of the Christian will do it. Sunday. As they used to say back in the pagan days, the venerable day of the sun. And he doesn't have multi-days. He has 3 services on Sunday, according to his website. Oh boy. Oh boy. We've been through this. This is tradition. I even gave a hint, and I said earlier in the video the exact day that Papal Rome, that Emperor Constantine, changed the day of worship. You cannot quote to me things like biblical slavery. Okay, like extreme concept. I had never heard that. In all of my years, I have never heard one person who was pro that. Even in the far-right circles that I was in. Okay, I heard all about women not voting. Okay? I heard all about women not going to work. I did. Okay? And that's not new. That shit ain't new. That's been around for a long time. And my guess is it was around long before. These circles have been around long before I was even born. Okay. But you can't tell me something like that. Okay? You can't tell me that we're going back to the patriarchal system. Okay? And a handful of other things that I'm sure they would want to see. Okay? And not worship on Sabbath. Are you fucking shitting me? That is the biggest load of hypocrisy that I have witnessed in I don't know how long. I don't know. So this is my question to Doug. I am also named Doug. But my question to another Doug. I will endorse you. I will 100% endorse you. If you follow the 10 Commandments fully. If not, I cannot. I could not vote for these guys in any way. In fact, I would probably be morally compelled, be compelled by God to vote against them, because guess what these guys are going to do? Okay? Now, the person in the chat, okay? Very true. Okay. Very true about Asmon. Okay. But Asmon's right. These guys are coming. They're coming. And they are going to make laws. They are going to make laws about day of worship. And if they are worshiping on Sunday, of course they would have a day of worship as a law. Of course they would. Don't be stupid. Of course these guys will. The problem is it's the wrong day. So I have a message in chat here. Welcome back, John. I'm gonna pull that up here. See if it will let me. Looks like I... Ew. See, I wish I had... I like how Asmon has his streaming chat that he could just move conversations over, but I can't move them over. So, here's what it says in chat. By John L. Davis. The people of God are not to vote to place such men in office, for when they do this, they are partakers with them of the sin which they commit while in office. Fundamentals of Christian Education 475. 1899. Is that... Who wrote that? Is that Ellen White or is that someone else? Okay. I've seen it go back and forth on Ellen White depending on where you get the quote. But I would probably agree with that. Okay. Is that 100% biblical? No. We have no true biblical reference for should we or should we not. And I am not telling you to. Okay? I'm not telling you to vote or not vote. I am merely saying for myself that I personally don't. Am I still a registered voter? Yes. Yes, I am. Okay? Because if it were to come down, push comes to shove, okay, I would have to vote against a day of worship being put in, unless it were Sabbath. And even then, I would have major reservations about it, because you are forcing a class of people to bow down before the Lord. Now, I've used Nebuchadnezzar as an example. Okay? I used Nebuchadnezzar as an example before in this, when it comes to the fiery furnace, that after that, he made every single person in his kingdom worship the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Okay? This was a mistake. He should have given them the option to not bow to the statue, but he was a man of extremes. Nothing ever has come good from worshipping with force. Pushing worship by force. Okay? And he says peacefully, for now, I'm with Asmon. For now. The Catholic Church said peacefully too. And look how that turned out. Look at all groups who have done this, okay? And we can go back to the Bible, okay? Not all points in the Bible were good with theocracy. Not even close. Let's talk about the prophets. How many of the prophets died before the captivity? Okay? They were in a theocracy. Okay? But they weren't upholding all of the laws of God. Except for a couple. The majority of them were evil. Or they just straight up rejected it and went to straight idolatry. Like Ahab. Okay? Ahab and Jezebel. Okay? Most of them had a form of godliness. A minor section. Okay? But the majority was not. Before I forget, here's a link to the video. I like Asmon. Please, link, subscribe to his channel. I know the other person said he was cooking nothing. I'm going to respectfully disagree. He's always cooking, and it's generally steak. It just depends on the quality of steak. We all know what Hunter Biden's cooking, though. He'll be another presidential candidate. I firmly believe that. Okay. He told us what he's cooking. He's cooking crack. He said it. He told us how to make crack, in fact.